everyone, welcome to video 2 of our Work Done Charities Tomato series with our friends Kathy Tillery and Remy Colte. In our first video, we made salsa, so if you haven't seen that one, be sure to check it out on our Work Done Charities YouTube and like and subscribe so you get notified when a video drops. Today, we're making focaccia bread. We're at Life University again, and we're about to make this kitchen smell amazing. So, Kathy and Remy, let's get right to it. What are we doing?
So we are making a no-knead overnight focaccia bread. This is a very easy recipe and it's great for first-time bakers. You can use all-purpose flour or bread flour. We'll have kosher salt, fresh rosemary from the garden chopped up, 2 cups of water, and yeast. This is instant yeast, so this does not need to be activated. You can actually put this right in the dry flour and then add your water. If you had dry active yeast, you would actually need to use warm water and dissolve it into the water mixture and let it get frothy for about 5 minutes and then add it to your flour mixture. So we can go ahead and put this together. First, I'm going to put the kosher salt in the flour and we're going to give that a good mix just so we don't have lumps of salt.
Very salty bite.
Yeah, very salty bite. Nobody likes that.
This is a good activity for the kids to do.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And you get, again, I know bread is kind of an intimidating thing to make.
Yeah.
This is the easiest thing ever to make. You can make it ahead of time, which is nice. If you need to rush it, you can get it done in 3 hours, but you could really make it ahead of time, 24 hours ahead, 12 hours ahead, and it is all good. So again, this is instant yeast, so we're going to put this directly into our mixture, our dry mixture. And we'll also stir that in.
You can really smell the fresh rosemary in this one.
Yeah.
It smells really good.
Very fragrant.
And rosemary is a plant that you can easily keep in your backyard, on your patio. It is very hardy and it grows really well.
So we're going to add our water here. And we are going to stir this. Don't be afraid of over mixing it. That's okay. You want to make sure there's not really any dry flour left. And again, this is a great thing for kids because it's not, you're not worried about over mixing it like muffins or anything like that. So kids can kind of just get in here and play. You just want to scrape the bowl really well so you can incorporate all that flour.
And so fun for the kids to see it go from just the flour and salt and rosemary to a dough. I don't think we see that in our foods too often. They see the finished product, but they don't see how it gets from point A to point B. So this is a fun one.
Yeah. So, and this dough is not going to be, what you would think of like a round, ball of dough. It's going to be kind of a shaggy, drier dough.
Shaggy, that's a good word.
Shaggy, yeah. I think everybody just expects it to be like this perfect round ball of dough. So this is what ours looks like. It's got most of the flour incorporated. And now what we're gonna do is take our olive oil, and basically this bowl is gonna sit overnight in the refrigerator, and we're gonna put a lid on it so it's airtight, but we don't want this dough. It's gonna rise a little bit and it's gonna get really tacky. So this olive oil will slick the bowl so that it will not stick, and you'll be able to get it out tomorrow. And you just want to lift the dough and make sure the olive oil gets underneath a little bit. But you don't need to put it in a different bowl. You can just kind of lift it, and that way less dishes. Yeah. So this we will put, and we'll cover it, and we'll put it in the refrigerator.
Whoa.
We, in our magic refrigerator, have a dough that I prepared 24 hours ago. And you can see it has risen a little bit even in the refrigerator. It's almost double. And what we're going to do here is do a folding process. And again, I said no knead, so it's easy. 2 forks. And what we're going to do is fold the dough 4 times. And then we're going to allow it to proof for 3 to 4 hours, depending how warm it is. So you just take 2 forks like this, and you'll scoop the dough and pull it towards you. And then you can turn the bowl. 180 turn. And you can see it's kind of pulling off. It's not getting too stuck to the bowl because that olive oil slicked. And then what we'll do is we'll cover this again and we'll put it in a warm space so that it can proof and rise. All right, so this is our dough after it has proofed. You can see it's risen a considerable amount. And what we're gonna do, we have a half sheet pan here. You can do smaller amounts. You could put it in a shorter container and it'll have a thicker bread, but I like to have my focaccia not too thick. So this will be able to decorate a lot more. We want to slick down. I know we slick the bowl down, but we're also gonna slick the pan down so it doesn't stick, as well as keep parchment paper. And this will make it a lot easier when it takes the cooked bread out of the oven.
You can just lift that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we want. It gets stuck really easy. So it's best if we get this really slicked up. And what we'll do is we'll kind of use our hands. Again, this is a fun step for kids, because who doesn't like playing in oil? And
Oh, kids love this stuff.
Yeah.
Because they like to get their hands,
Oh, yeah.
hands dirty.
As messy as possible.
Mhm.
So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take this dough and we're gonna put it in this pan, and then we're going to spread it out so it is evenly spread across the pan, and we're gonna dimple it.
So how do you know, is it just that the dough is doubled in order that you know that it's been proofed enough?
Yes. So it will be doubled from what it looked like coming out of the refrigerator. And don't worry about the olive oil that's on here. It'll be okay.
More oil the better.
Yes. So we'll use both hands. Again, make sure your hands are clean before you do this, and you do some spreading. Don't be afraid to touch it. There's actually a tactic that we're going to be doing called dimpling, and that will allow the focaccia to bake a little bit more even, and it helps you spread it out with being scared to break the dough.
So how would you say that you can use focaccia in different meals?
So focaccia is one of those that is great for so many different things. And again, it's kid-friendly as far as making, but also can be very kid-friendly in mealtime as well. I like using it as a pizza dough. It has a lot of flavor to it. So even if you don't like the rosemary, you can take that out and make it as an easy dough to make little pizzas for kids. Or you can have it as a side with a salad. Lots of fresh vegetables in that, getting those antioxidants and phytochemicals with your vegetables. You could use it with a marinara sauce to dip it in, or even with a soup. Like a soup and the focaccia bread go really well together too, and you're incorporating so many different aspects, different textures with those. So it's a good all-encompassing bread to use with many different recipes and meal times.
So now that we have our bread, you can see it kind of spread out a little bit, and you have your little fingerprints in there, which we call dimples. What I'm going to do next is salt. I'll take a little bit of kosher salt here. Just do a little bit on top, sprinkle. That'll give it a little additional flavor once it bakes. We also have assorted vegetables here. So I know y'all were wondering when tomatoes come into it. We have cherry tomatoes, and you can cut them, you can have them. We're basically going to decorate this and make a floral scene out of vegetables. So again, this is like the most fun for kids because they get to use their imagination and it really comes together. So this is our finished focaccia floral scene. So what we're gonna do now is put this in our oven at 425 for 15 to 20 minutes or until lightly browned. Looks like our bread is ready, so let's check it out. Oh wow, look at that. It's got a nice light brown color, and you can see the tomatoes and onions starting to caramelize. So you want to cool your focaccia off before you really cut into it. See how we got this parchment paper and it comes right off the pan. So we're going to take this and we were going to transfer it to our cutting board. And we've got a serrated knife here, and these little teeth will help cut through the bread without squishing it down too much.
Look at how fluffy that is.
Flavor.
So thank you for joining us today, and make sure you subscribe to this channel to be notified when our last tomato video drops. And drop a comment about what you might decorate your focaccia bread with. We use tomatoes and onions and parsley and peppers, but you can use whatever you want. If you've enjoyed today's recipe, make sure you like and subscribe to Work Done Charity's YouTube to keep up with all of our exciting things that we've got going on. And see you next time.